What's going on, guys? So I wanted to go ahead and dedicate this video to DevOps. DevOps is what's known as development operations. I work in IT operations, so my specialty, at least where I'm working at now, is kind of half of this situation. It's a pretty popular subsector of tech, not necessarily cybersecurity, but tech overall, and is blowing up. And DevOps engineers are becoming a pretty sought after position. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about that. So let's go ahead and get started. So when you're talking about DevOps or development operations, you're looking at two components. You're looking at IT operations, which I said I'm in, and you're looking at software development. Now, lucky these days, it's a lot faster for software developers to push out updates to applications and to phones for hardware, firmware, software, pretty much everything in between. But the problem is sometimes developers can crank these updates out a lot faster than people on my side of the fence in IT operations want to implement them in fear that there might be a crash in the system or something like that. So what ended up happening was the two sides merged, and sometimes you have DevOps teams or departments that work together so that these processes don't hinder one another. As a result, this would lead to an automated workflow that would allow the two teams to work together where software developers can crank out their updates, but IT operations won't hinder the rapid fire updates from being implemented. So of course we want to know, why is DevOps and like DevOps engineering and things like that suddenly becoming a hot job title, at least now that it's reached a certain level of popularity where more people know about it. Naturally, and this goes for so many positions in tech, I might as well stop bringing it up as a key point. It's lucrative. Obviously, with it being an engineering position, of course, that usually means money to a lot of people. Not always the case, but that's usually what it means. And this is one of those engineering positions that actually is pretty lucrative. Now, in terms of the benefits that come with this position and actually working in it, naturally it increases collaboration and it automates workflow. This is actually pretty important because if you're anywhere in the tech realm, primarily in the more technical side of things, there's a running joke that if something's wrong with the application, it may get forwarded to the application team and say, hey, what's going on with this application? They would say, hey, none's wrong with the application. Let's send it to the networking team. And they send it to the networking team. They're like, there's nothing wrong here. You send it to the security team and they say, there's nothing wrong there. And then they send it to, I don't know, the hardware team, and it just keeps going around and around. And they play hot potato with it because no one believes that their side of the fence is wrong or they truly can't pinpoint the issue. So this allows these type of issues to be more efficiently resolved without different teams playing hot potato or different departments playing hot potato, either claiming that nothing is wrong, even though it actually could be something wrong, or they simply may not be able to find what the issue is and whether or not it's coming from them or a different team. Another benefit, and we already pretty much disclosed this, updates are released faster and more efficiently without the hindrance of IT operations kind of holding things back because we can't keep up with all the updates and implementing them because before we implement those updates, we need to make sure it doesn't break the system that's already in place. Another side of that coin is that it increases or accelerates time to resolution. Basically, the amount of time it takes to come up with a solution to a problem, assuming we don't already have something on hand and we are already kind of familiar with what the situation is, then the time to come up with a solution that works doesn't take nearly as long because you have a whole bunch of different specialties that are working on one team or one department that can attack this problem from different angles. And it usually cuts down the amount of time it takes to find, hey, this is what we need to do. Go ahead and get the solution implemented, get this problem out the way, and move on. Last one, and this is a pretty big one, unplanned work or a change in requirements is better predicted and we're better prepared for it. That way, that kind of goes back to the previous point of it doesn't take people nearly as long to come up with a resolution to a problem because we may have even predicted it, already planned for it. And when it just rears its ugly head, and if we didn't plan for it, we didn't see it coming. Well, like I said, we have a bunch of different people with many different specialties and experiences in the same room, on the same team, working together. We're bound to figure this out a whole lot sooner than playing hot potato by moving the issue from one department to another department to another department to another department. Now, one question that I have seen is DevSecOps an upgraded version of DevOps? The answer is no. It's not an upgraded version. It's just that DevSecOps incorporates security into these processes so that the applications that are created by the developers or engineers are secure, and security becomes part of the testing process out of the gate. So if you have DevOps, yeah, the software application, whatever code that they use is it's built out, it gets deployed, the upgrades are deployed, and IT operations implements it, but you're not necessarily checking for security there. Now, of course, security is everyone's responsibility, but there's a reason there are security personnel that specialize in this when it comes to checking this stuff. So DevSecOps incorporates that so that all bases are covered, so that all applications and upgrades and updates that are deployed also include testing, automated testing for security, for vulnerabilities, and anything that, if not caught, will lead to problems down the line. And of course, that will lead to bad reputation with the general public, with stakeholders, with customers, and ultimately end users. But I hope that was helpful, guys. I'm going to go ahead and leave that here. If you have any feedback for me, go ahead and throw this back at me. Go ahead and throw some feedback at me in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, go ahead and send those to me as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.